Either in whatever you put on, fold it, that's
Right.
in and out.
See how crazy they are.
Actually, there are different ways.
Good morning. So
No, Papa, I don't hit
All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to get started. We put the food off to the side, so if you need food, extra food during the meeting, feel free to wander over and get food. We've got a pretty full agenda because we've got a lot of people that help and do things all throughout the year. The quick agenda is we'll do the call to order here in a minute. I'll do a quick introduction. We've got the treasurer's report, so we'll talk about finances. We'll talk about the board candidates, so we'll review the candidates and see if anybody has a call for acclamation, so we can vote on that. All the committees are going to do an update on what they've done the last year. It'll be quick but important updates on what they've completed. We've got some large projects underway, so we want to make sure everybody knows about the yearly projects and some other things that we're doing. I'll have a couple remarks. The rabbi and I'll have some remarks. We'll have some open time for questions, and then we'll adjourn. So it'll be a quick 2-hour meeting, and then we can head out to enjoy the weather today. So the call to order really is just to say the meeting is officially started. We are doing this on a live stream, and we're recording it, so we'll also have minutes for everybody. We're a volunteer-run organization, which really means for everybody involved, it's a labor of love. Our salaries are zero, but we really want this place to thrive. And I'm thrilled that everybody shares that we want Temple Beth Orr to be the best. I mean, that's what everybody says. That's what everybody wants. I also need to thank so many people, because for members that pay their dues and show up, that's critical. We want to bring the community together. The staff has done a good job this year with sending out the light and keeping the calendar up to date. The executive board really provides direction for everybody in terms of what our priorities are and dealing with any issues. The board members have shown up at all the board meetings and talked about some very difficult things, decisions we have to make. Committee chairs and committee members do a ton of work throughout the year to make sure all the events go well, and the volunteers. I mean, it's all of us together that make this happen, so I felt like I needed to start by saying thank you. I had this slide at the end, but I felt like I needed to start by saying thank you to all of you for making this possible. After that, we'll pass it to Mark for the treasurer's report.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Whoa.
Sorry. So
Is there paper available?
it is. It's on in the middle of the
Paper's on the table.
I've got some paper copies in the middle of the table for everybody. All right. So starting off, and this is actually on the second page of the. Yeah, sorry. It's on the second page here for the profit loss, kind of the activity for the year. So ultimately, what you'll see here, member support, we collected $294,000 this year of our member support. We'll get to what was pledged here in a few minutes, but that's about 85% of, we're about 85-90% of what we've pledged for the year, which is really good. We still have, this data is based on April, so we still have 2 months of the fiscal year to go. So we've had really good contributions from members, just general donations and some legacy gifts that have come in that contributions line. And then you'll see our fundraising income of $51,000. And that includes the gala event, the corned beef event, art and music cafe, and so all the fundraising programs we've had so far this year. So, bottom line, $511,000 revenue this year. As of April, on the expense side, $507,000 in total expenses. So, small profit. I would expect as we move through the rest of this year, we'll stay at that kind of break-even level, which is what our intention is. So the big things for this year, obviously, we've had some continuing maintenance on building. That's what's going into that administration fund. I have for this year some additional breakouts for building expense, utilities, and just general admin. One of the things this year, we did switch with Fuel Cloud. We've switched over and are using QuickBooks as our accounting software, so giving us a little bit more flexibility in terms of how we can produce some of these numbers, and so working on some of that to kind of improve this as we go forward. So we'll go over to the next one. So on a balance sheet side, cash and investment perspective, and then restricted funds here on this page. The cash balance compared to last year in July is up. Part of that is some money that we're transferring in May over to the future fund that we've collected. So we have, you'll see a new endowment fund that is held with the Federation for the money that's come in from the future fund. And so to date, we have $543,000 in that fund. We're transferring over another $120,000 in May of money that's come in for the future fund pledges. So, and then from a restricted funds perspective, these are basically where we've had money pledged for specific items for specific goals. And so not a whole lot of movement here. We did have an additional $10,000 contributed from Margola's family, and so we recognize them and thank them for contributing to that fund. cemetery. We've had several purchases this year, and so the cemetery funds, where we had purchased the plots originally, we're now making that money back and contributing to the maintenance of the cemetery as well. Okay. From a receivable standpoint, we'll have to say first off, the first line here, the future fund, thank you to Marty and Karen Segalowitz and Karen Lindsay for managing and putting together such a successful capital campaign for the future fund. It's, here for this year, we're showing 758,000 in pledges. That's just what was pledged for this year. In total, we have close to 1.1 million that was pledged as part of that. So that's a huge benefit to the temple in the long term. So again, we've had 670,000 contributed this year alone. Member support, so we've had pledges of 319,000, 200, this is showing 270,000 that's been collected, so we're in good shape there, and you can see the rest here, smaller items. So overall, I think we're in really good shape with the temple for current and the long term. So if you guys have any questions? Yeah.
There are, in the previous slide, you showed some of the different funds.
Yeah.
Two of which had camper funds.
Yeah.
What is the separation? Why the separation?
So the TVO Campership Fund was one that existed, has existed historically. The Clare Campership Fund was given in honor of Richard Clare and has a specific annual giving out of that fund. So the TVO Campership Fund is more of a general fund that we can contribute to and utilize. The Clare Campership Fund is intended to be a more long-term fund, so only a portion of that gets distributed each year. So those are all through the federation. So they're all part of the federation endowment investment strategy. So actually, John Granby is sitting on their advisory board right now, is representing our temple, and that gets reviewed through the federation's program.
Can you explain a little bit more about the future fund, its purpose, its how it will be accessible, who has access to it?
So right now, so Marty's going to talk a little bit more about the future fund here in a little bit. So I'll defer to her on some of that, but the intention of the future fund is for the facility and staff needs of the temple. So it's things that we need to do that we may not be able to get from member support. So that money is intended to be used, and it's intended to be used, it is not intended to be a endowment, if you will, like our other endowment, which we're only taking portions of. So Marty will talk a little bit more about the purpose of it here.
You had alluded to that. What happens to the income from the primary endowment?
So that gets, the income from the primary endowment is getting reinvested. So we have not pulled anything out of the endowment this year.
Have you previous years? This money sometimes come out?
Generally not. We've been fairly restrictive on that. We did pull some out last year for the 2025 year, but that was a specific purpose. But generally, we have not used the endowment funds to support current operations.
What does it take to take that money out and use it? What's the process?
So there's an endowment committee, and so right now, the board would discuss with the endowment committee the needs for that and what purpose it would be serving. And then both the board and the endowment committee would need to authorize the use of those funds.
And so what would be an example of something that they would use?
So
One in every crowd.
as an example, if we knew we couldn't, well, I'll use this example, but it fits a little bit more to the future fund. But if there's a specific expense for the building, let's say, that we needed to have a significant upgrade in the building, and we could not do that out of the general fund, we would pull that from the endowment. So it would be something of a larger scale nature that we would need, that we couldn't support through general funds. Yeah.
You do have a building endowment fund also, what's that for?
So the building endowment is primarily if there's a building expense, so I think there's $200,000 roughly in that, so that would be the first place we would take for the building. Secondarily, or if there was a personnel expense or some other type of programming that we wanted to do, we could use the endowment fund for that. The endowment is intended to support the operations of the temple if member support annual contributions are not sufficient. I mean, the endowment is intended for the long-term stability of the temple. So, you know, think of it, if you had some kind of a dip, you have your savings account to pull into. But it's not, historically, our temple has tried not to use the endowment. We've been trying to build that up so we have those reserves over time.
Is there still money going into the building endowment fund?
We do ask for contributions from new members for the building fund, yes. Yeah.
We're running on a $500,000 budget? Question. Is there any thought been given, we have a proliferation of targeted funds, has any thought been given to condensing some of those? Because that's a lot to manage for an organization our size.
Can you repeat the question?
So the question was, we have a lot of restricted funds. Is there any thought to consolidating them? Yeah, that actually came up recently at a board meeting of reviewing that, so it's something that we can look at and take under advisement. I mean, some of those are restricted for a reason, some of them we created. So there's some that, yeah, we may be able to change around, some of them we may not be able to.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have some time for more questions. If you have 10 more questions for Mark, he'll be here all morning and can answer that. Mark, thank you for sharing that. Financially, we're in decent shape. The future fund is a huge help for our future, which is critical. So, reviewing the candidates for the board. We have gotten votes from members already. Donna's been collecting those. We have several board members that are going to kind of re-up and take another session with the board, in part because we don't want to lose momentum on a lot of things that we have in flight. We also have 3 new nominees for the board, Josh Atkin, Nathaniel Berman, and Annette Nathan, and we're very excited that they are willing to join the board, and they all bring us skills and access to people that we want to influence. So we're very excited about that. And then continuing is Scott Denmark, Rachel Gilbert, Stephanie Kirtland, and Ryan Levin. So does anybody have a call for acclamation?
Also move.
John, call. Second. Okay, thank you, Claudia. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Thank you so much. Motion passes. Yes.
if all of the new people are here, maybe they could stand up so people can recognize the name and the face.
Absolutely, we could do that. Let's do that towards the end if that's, well, we'll just do it now. So, there's a couple new people. Come up and get a microphone. You can't pull a Rabbi Judy and say, I don't need a microphone, so.
Hi everybody, I'm Nathan Berman, been members here a year or two. You might have seen my 3 girls running around, and we're really glad to be a part of the community.
Welcome to the team.
All right, Annette.
Hi, I'm Annette Nathan. My favorite title was Mother of the Triplets. Recently retired, so I hope I have more time to devote to the temple.
Thank you. All right, next we're going to do committee updates. So for those people that are going to be speaking, because we asked for about 2 minutes for each committee, just come up to the front so we can kind of zip through and let everybody do their updates. We have a lot of committees, a lot of things that we've been doing over the last year and things that we're looking forward to doing next year. A couple of these committees, I will speak on behalf of the committee because they're not here, or somebody else will. So again, all the committee people that are going to speak, come on up to the front so we can get through this. It is in alphabetical order. I thought that was the easiest way to do it. Adult education. Ruth Schumacher has been working on quite a few programs. Adult education every year does support the veterans, and we do something around Veterans Day. We've got a movie discussion group. We've got a Jewish short story group. In July, we're going to have an artist come in and talk about some Jewish art. That'll be in person. We've done it with this person 2 or 3 times on Zoom, but we're going to do it in person in here and have a really nice event. And we've got a lot of other things in discussion for the year. So that's adult education. I'm going to speak about the aesthetics committee. The Levin Foundation gave us money for Levin Hall 2.0. We haven't really kicked that off, but we've got plans in place. So the aesthetic committee is going to be looking at possibly new carpet, new paint in the room, some other things to really liven up the room. We're going to have a new projector next year that's going to come out of the ceiling. We'll have a projector up in the screen. Everything's going to be very, very nice, easy to use for all of us. You know, just the setup every time we do an event takes time and money. So we'll have everything in place, ready to go, beautiful sound, and we're really looking forward to that coming up. So the aesthetics committee is working with our decorator and kind of talking about some ideas. So hopefully next year when you come back for the annual meeting, it'll just be different and very, very exciting. The audit and endowment. John Granby.
Good morning, everyone. On the audit committee, we are working on a new audit. I'm working with Mark, and we would love to have a volunteer or 2. We need at least 1, if not 2 volunteers. Some accounting background would be appreciated to work with us for the audit committee, which is, I can't do it by myself, because I'm a signer on checks, so we need at least 1 or 2 other members to work with us to complete the audit committee and do a audit that needs to be done for the last few years. On the endowment committee, a question was asked about what is the endowment used for? And the best definition for the endowment is for extraordinary, special, or things that no one has thought of for the temple that is needed, and the process is the board brings to the audit committee a request on something special and extraordinary. Then the endowment committee works, it meets, it makes a recommendation back to the board to whether to move forward with the use of the endowment money for that special project or not. And in the last couple of years, we've had 2 specific requests. One was granted because money was put into the endowment committee with a very specific request to help upgrade the sanctuary. We honored that request, and that's how the sanctuary was redone and modernized. I do serve now on the Federation Endowment Fund Committee, which is about, I think it's about $44 million. We're one of 6 different members that have put money into that committee or into that fund. It is managed with the quarterly meetings. At the present time, it's returning either a benchmark or slightly above benchmark yield every year. So it is growing and it is managed very well. On that, I'll give it back to Mark.
Great, thank you so much. All right, next is the Cemetery Committee, Don Weckstein.
Thank you. With the exception of this wonderful building, the cemetery is the largest asset of this congregation. Many of us don't think about that, but it is something that's inevitable in the facts of life. The status of the cemetery committee at this point is that the temple has purchased 236 plots, all of which are located in David Cemetery. We have sold over the period of 41 years to our members 143 of those plots. So that means that there are available 93 plots for the future. How long that will last really remains to be seen. We have burials already in the cemetery of 72. Temple's price at the present time to Temple members is $3,400 per plot. David Cemetery price to non-Temple members is $5,695. So the purchase that we made over the years has been a wonderful purchase. That does not mean that we will not raise the price as the years go by, but the present time is a very fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
I just wanted to say that all the other synagogues are trying to raise money. You can probably hear me. No.
You're really good.
Children would disagree with that, but I just quickly wanted to say that the other institutions and synagogues are trying to raise money to maintain their cemeteries. It's very, very expensive. We have a really good deal here. I just wanted to let you all know that.
We do, and it's so well maintained compared to what I've seen other places. It's a nice treat. Stephanie Kirtland runs the education committee for us. Elizabeth Woosley, who some of you may have not met yet, she's our director of education and runs the Sunday school. She's going to present, but I also wanted to give you guys a chance to meet her as well. We're very happy to have her here.
Thank you, Mark. Hello. So as Mark said, my name is Elizabeth Woosley, and I have been the education director for this last school year. We began on a really joyful and energetic note last fall. We have 3 teen song leaders, Aiden Kirtland, Abby Gilbert, and Chava Gilbert, and they're amazing. The kids flock to them and just very much love being part of what they do. So you can see the 3 of them right there. Aiden is here the first Friday of every month with Mark Lassio. And Chava sometimes joins that, I believe. But it's been great. So we were proud to have 34 students this year in pre-K through 9th grade, including welcoming 3 new families and 5 additional students into our community. It's been really wonderful to watch them come together with the kids that have been here and just form this new larger group. Our students have experienced Jewish learning not only in the classroom, but through hands-on celebrations, traditions, memorable community experiences. In the fall, we celebrated Sukkot together in the sukkah, And at Simchat Torah, we had a wonderful consecration ceremony for kids in preschool through third grade. So we know that now everybody in our school, except for the new ones that will be coming in the fall, have been consecrated. As part of a life cycle study, we had a mock wedding celebration, complete with rings and vows, a reception, including cake. We concluded a celebration, we concluded the year with community service and fun. We worked on making some tie blankets and painted some rocks. And had a great song session, ending song session with both Miss Mary and our team leaders. I want to take a moment to recognize all of the faculty, some of whom are here today. We know what happened with Hillel Academy, and they had to come in pretty much on a dime. And I just want to thank all of our teachers for their flexibility and being so warm and welcoming to Hillel. We're really excited to have them, and we're excited for what that might mean for some Sunday mornings. And then lastly, thank you for making me feel so welcome. It's such a special place here, and I'm incredibly grateful and excited to be part of it. So thank you very much.
And they did have the best slides, by the way. of all of them.
Thank you, Stephanie.
All right, next up is Dave Warner to talk about facilities.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone today. I was asked to join the facilities committee several months ago, and we've got a few things accomplished so far, and I've got really big shoes to fill after Ira. And thanks for all his work. So we addressed some roof leaks that we had, and we got those repaired. And I sourced some new ceiling tiles locally, and we got those installed. And we have been done pretty good with the leaks. These older buildings need a lot of care. And we have a new facility management agency. Mechanical Systems of Dayton is now going to be taking care of all of our heating and air conditioning needs. And they've been around for 40 years, just like we have. And they document by video everything that they do, so that we have positive proof that the jobs requested were actually completed. So that's a nice thing. And I saw that we got glass replaced in that window in the east hallway by the synagogue. That's taken care of. That was broken for a while. And we got new front door access keypads that work very well, and they can be controlled remotely. So that's a very nice thing. And new video cameras. We have a snow removal company in place for this winter. So that's all set and ready to go. And I went around last week and replaced a bunch of these outlet covers, which presented a safety hazard. I tried to look at all the little details and so that I don't miss anything. And we continue to replace light bulbs as needed in all the areas. Another thing I did, Laura, our housekeeping person, told me that a latch was broken in the women's restroom out here. So I sourced that and replaced that. So now that's all secure. And I'm looking for help. If anybody in their travels around Temple sees anything that needs any attention, please let us know, either myself or Mark or Donna in the office. That would be greatly appreciated to have more eyes. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dave. We really want the facility to be nice. When people come in, we want it to look the best that it can look. Jerry, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question, comment. Thank you for doing all that. That's greatly appreciated. One thing I did see on the way in, we are still advertising our corned beef sale on our big board. It would be great if we could use that to our advantage, or if not, if we could keep it up to date by having it blank would be great.
Yeah, agreed. So, this is probably more information than you want to know, but the box that holds all the keys got broken and nobody could open it to get the key to the sign. That's been resolved, but we still need to fix that sign and update it. So thank you for mentioning that. Next up is Marnie Flagel to talk about fundraising.
I'm here to tell you, I did not fall into any potholes when you come into. I'm here on behalf of Carol Wexstein, who's out of town. I know, better, I should know better. Who's what did I say? We can thank Carol. Carol's a Galwitz. I'm looking at Dawn. No, it's not Carol Wexstein, but she also helps with things. What I wanted, I'm Marnie Flagel, for those that don't know me, I probably aren't too many of those. We decided last year that there are some things that we need to do for the future. Things that are necessary and appropriate, and we'll tell you more about those. And a name that's not on here that should be is Karen Lindsay, who also helped put this thing together with Carol and myself. And she's not here, but I didn't want to mention her name. We decided that it would be called the Future Fund, because unlike the endowment fund, that it's for major projects, this can be done for the following reasons. And those reasons are for our clergy and staffing, education, programs, and security, building, and grounds. Now, I know those are pretty broad things, but that is the future. We need to make sure that we continue to have the wonderful synagogue that we have. And I have to not forget to mention that this fund is in honor of Rabbi Chesson, without whom we would never have been able to get to this point. I really believe that. We launched the program in August of 2025, and we completed it in April of 2026. And I wanted to say the amount pledged, if I can get this out, is $1,081,738. And of that pledge, some go for 1 year, some are over as much as 5 years, but we have already received $672,822. And a very, very special thank you goes to Mimi and Stuart Rose, who kicked this off with a very, very generous gift. And then you all followed. I want to say that for those of you that maybe haven't been able to give to this point or wanted to, and it's just a little late, trust me, we will take the money. And we're working right now on a series of plaques that will go up, and everyone will be noted somewhere. So you might want to think about that. I wanted to also thank the individuals who helped with soliciting and planning, as well as the two of us. So it's Steve Goldberg, Ellen Holroyd, John Granby, Marty Jacobs, Gary Ura, Mark Siegel, and Mark Grunberg, and of course, Karen Lindsay. It was an honor of love. It was a labor of love, and especially for this synagogue and our rabbi. I look around here, a lot of us have been here a long time, but it's also exciting to see the new people that have joined as well. Those little kids that come are just delightful. So if you haven't been here, during a children's service, you ought to come and see that. We sincerely thank all of you. That's on behalf of Carol Segalowitz and myself. And thank you very much.
Marnie. Next up is marketing, and there is a tie between marketing and fundraising. This year, we are going to start a new business sponsorship program. So we're going to start building relationships with businesses in the community. It's going to be a lot easier for us. We used to have committees go out one by one and ask for money, but this way we'll go out and talk to businesses one time a year. We'll build relationships. We'll get them into the light. We'll do advertising. You know, when you get your corned beef or your brisket, you'll have a little something from them as well. So we're really trying to look at all those organizations that we know of that want to support being Jewish in Temple Beth Or. But if you guys have other businesses, please let us know. We're going to reach out to all of them and figure out how to make that a good deal for everybody. We're looking to send out high holiday kits to kids in college so that make sure they celebrate the high holidays and remember that. We're going to be advertising in more publications. We've got a lot of technology opportunities to update some of our content. Lots of things have been discussed. Community engagement, and really reminding people that Temple Beth Or is a leader in the Jewish community. I think that's super important. So we're going to be doing a lot of things to get some visibility, to get our name out there. And I think we'll probably end up with a slightly new logo, but we'll probably keep the colors. We haven't decided yet, but something that's memorable, that's catchy, that people will see and be interested in. So that's a quick update on marketing. Next, Sarah's going to talk about membership.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah White. So I've covered membership for the last year. We had a really great year with membership. Putting families as one count, we actually had 10 new members, so families and singles included. We had 5 new kids come with Sunday school, which was awesome. We've gotten really great feedback from our new members as well, just how welcoming the temple was. I got a compliment from one of the moms from Sunday school that the first day sitting with the parents and families at Sunday school waiting for the kids to start the day, that was the most they've ever felt welcome out of the full year previously at a different temple. So something with our temple is coming and feeling like home, feeling like family is something that's very important. And we're getting a lot of feedback that our new members coming in are feeling that warmth from us, that they're feeling that this is, you know, a family congregation. But we've had great members this year. We're working to build a new process of how we're reaching out to people, how we're communicating with people, how we're getting them in, inviting them to services, inviting them to tour, you know, the temple during McCore for families with kids coming in. You know, we're seeing a wide range where we are getting new families, we're getting empty nesters, we're getting singles. I know I've personally seen more growth as well during services. We've seen a lot of new people coming in during services as well. That might be my turn. Yeah. Well, I'll wrap it up. But again, it's just been a great year. We've had a great year of new members, new congregation.
Thank you so much. All right, next up is personnel. So Sharon happens to be one of our new members this year. Longtime friend of Temple Beth Or, but like a lot of people, they just show up when they want. But now 60% of Jews are unaffiliated, and that's an opportunity that we have.
I'm affiliated.
So we're very happy to have you.
So I have been asked to help out with the human resources side for the temple. And so one of the initiatives that I was asked to help out with was to successfully hire Elizabeth as our religious director. She's doing a wonderful job. Our next initiative is to work on an assistant rabbi search. And I've already done some preliminary work with updating the job description as well as doing a salary survey. And so now we're also working on a committee. And once we have all of that put together, we will begin our search. Right?
Great, thank you so much. That committee is gonna not only look at assistant rabbi as an opportunity, but other positions that we need for staffing. All right, next, Stu, Religious Committee.
Good morning. I'm Stuart Murrell. I'm a member of the board, the chairman of the Religious Committee. The Religious Committee, in my mind, has two main functions. One function is to help with ideas and moral and emotional and food support for everything that Rabbi Chessie wants to do. The other, which I think is either equally or more important, although I will say we spend much less time with that, is we are your conduit for any feedback or any thoughts you have about religious life at Temple Beth Or. We choose to, we reserve the right to ignore what you have asked. But we are the people you should be saying, rather than mumbling in a corner about one thing or another, mumble to us. And we'll either mumble with you or at least say that's an interesting idea. We've never thought of that. So what we've done over the course of the year, basically, if you think of any religious activity at the temple, we had a finger or toe or bottle of wine associated with it. Oh, okay, sorry. Do I need to start at the beginning? No. So we've had input regarding Shabbat services. We planned last year's annual picnic. We coordinate and often run many of the summer late services. We still have some openings for this year's late services. So if any of you have a budding interest in being a rabbi or paralat rabbi, please let me know and I can tell you what dates we still have available. We have sought sponsors for Oneg Shabbat. We arranged for many of the features of the Slichot at Temple Beth Or this past year. We assisted and provided input regarding High Holy Day services. We actually had one of our meetings in the Sukkah. We planned a Hanukkah celebration, which was, for those of you who were not aware, it involved going to dinner at host families and then a fabulous dessert function here at the temple. This year was, I think, in my memory, it may be the first time we had two separate Purim services, two separate Purim celebrations. One was the children's celebration, which you might say, well, that's really the spirit of Purim. But if you take the other term, other meaning of the word spirit, we had spirits to raise our spirits and forget who Haman was, with an adult themed Purim party, which was actually very well attended and was on Purim. So for those of you who have thought about, well, why do we celebrate Hanukkah in July? Sometimes we do that because that's convenient, but Purim was actually somewhere in Purim. We also had a surprisingly themed Pesach second Seder with Marty Jacobs as a point person for that, which was Indian themed. And we had input into the most recent Shavuot observance and celebration. And just like when you thought I was done, here's one more slide. So what's coming up? On Friday, June 26th is the annual picnic. And to remind all of you, because I actually just found out, I don't know, maybe about a week ago, that the annual picnic is a celebration of having completed sort of the fiscal year of services here at Temple Beth Or. And so it's a combination of a Friday night service starting at 5:30. Don't put that in your phones. It's 5:30 start, and then the picnic will be thereafter. Most of the seating, the service will probably be outside, weather permitting. Most of the seating will be outside, but there will be some inside seating as well. We are requesting that people bring, the temple will provide burgers, hot dogs, veggie burgers, toppings for those things, buns for those things. I guess we're providing drinks as well. Yes, no, maybe. You're welcome to bring drinks and fruits and sides and desserts to help fill out. And it's usually a great time and an opportunity to hang out. And we are also, as I mentioned before, finalizing lay leaders for the summer services. We have almost all our slots filled. How can you help? We are always interested in having sponsors for the Oneg Shabbat receptions. Could be to honor a life cycle event, that's the one or a sad one, or just for fun. Can be relatively simple and painless, so we don't think you have to on a mini wedding for a Shabbat Oneg reception. I'm almost done. We're always, as I mentioned at the start, we're looking for feedback on any of the observances or services. And if you really have a burning desire to help us even more, get in touch with me and we might even put you on the committee. Any questions? Have the rest of the day.
Thank you, Stu. Now, if you just count Shabbat services alone, right, that's 52, and then you add all the holidays and celebrations, that committee is very, very busy and it's constant throughout the year. So my comment, just because you might want to help the committee, you don't have to do it all year. You can help for little bits and pieces. If there's a certain holiday you really like, help with that holiday. So, you know, think about what you're most interested in and offer that. So next up is safety and security, Bill Freed.
Hi, 6 years ago, John Granby came up to me and said, "Hey, Bill, could you take over the security committee?" And I said, "Sure." Little did I know that 2 weeks later was going to be the mass tragic shooting in Pennsylvania, where an armed shooter came into a synagogue and shot 11 people. This was really a wake-up call for all of us. And unfortunately, since that time, anti-Semitism continues to be a pervasive issue in America. There's violent attacks on Jewish houses of worship, schools that surged in recent years. Reported incidents that are an all-time high for the last 3 years. And since the October 7th massacre in Israel, and then the war ongoing in the Middle East, I mean, the occurrences of these anti-Semitic acts have increased even more. So we see a lot of anti-Jewish, anti-Israel hate rhetoric, and this incites harassment, vandalism, physical assaults against Jewish individuals and our institutions. I think we're all aware of that. But our committee takes all these threats very, very seriously. And as you know, Temple Beth Or has a very large presence in Dayton, Ohio. We have the most senior rabbi that we love. We have the largest Sunday school. Now we have Hillel. We're at a prominent location. I mean, all these make a very tempting target for somebody who wants to commit some malicious acts. In response to this threat environment, our committee's been very proactive in enhancing the physical security of the building, and we've also ensured the presence of security guards for all our major activities. So that said, we've accomplished an awful lot this year. A lot of safety improvements are obvious to you. You know, the fences and the decorative boulders and the bollards, reflective film on the windows, but a lot of things we've done you may not be aware of. So our committee's been very busy. We've provided armed security and watchers for all Sunday school activities and temple events. We've held committee meetings to review and update our security policies and talk about coverage when we have major events coming up. We've secured improved radios, upgraded the alarm system and temple access locks, maintained a spreadsheet for all the temple activities. So we know who's covering and making sure that security doesn't fall through the gap. We have already secured security guard coverage for the upcoming summer and winter sessions of Camp Shalom, which is a kind of a major commitment because they're here for 5 days a week, over 40 hours. We've also, you should know that we've attended various security webinars hosted by the National Security Community Network. We're coordinating closely with Washington Township Sheriffs for additional coverage at our larger events. And we attended community security meetings hosted by the JCC, which is something that's just kind of started up. What we have in process for the coming year, we're still applying for Ohio Homeland Security grants, which we were successful in the past getting that helped kind of jumpstart our security program. We've upgraded security cameras and other security enhancements are planned for the coming year. So how can you help? We're always looking for volunteers. So if you are interested, we could always use more help with our temple watchers. Consider joining us in enhancing the security. On funding, when you make your donations to the temple, consider making a donation to the security fund. Our grants have run out, and so now we are funding our own security, and that will definitely help. And finally, keep situational awareness, especially in the parking lot and even in buildings. I mean, you should know that there's 7 exits in this room right now. There's 2 fire extinguishers. There's 2 fire alarms. You should know where our AEDs are. There's one over here by the door, one by the front office. Just maintaining awareness of where you are, that helps. And as always, you see something, say something. Security and safety is everybody's responsibility. And finally, you should thank our security guards. You should thank Ryan. You should thank Lou at the front gate. These are the guys that are standing between us and people that might do us harm. So again, I appreciate everybody's support for security, and just remember, it's everybody's business. Yes, you in the back.
Throw one
Go ahead, Ryan.
Part of my role of, I will project, I don't know. Part of my role, being
They can't
involved.
hear you online, so it'll be bad. Sorry.
I'm sorry, online people, I won't deny. I just wanted to throw this out there that Bill Freed's security team, we had the sheriff's department come in to do a security assessment on our facility, also because of the Hillel transition, which I'll get to. But suffice to say, the sheriff's came in and said, we are at a standard that all other schools should hope for and should be compared to. That we have gone above and beyond to create what in my mind was a safe environment where people can drop their kids off, people who aren't involved in security and can consciously drop their kids off here. And because of Bill Freed's tutelage and our security team, you can do that.
Also special thanks to Mark and Scott Denmark, who have been heading up our temple watchers. They've been here all the time, and it's really appreciated. And again, we can always use more help and extra eyes and ears. Yes.
Can you explain the temple watchers?
Temple watchers. We decided, from a financial point of view, it wasn't really feasible to hire for most events more than one armed guard. And so we have asked the temple for volunteers for our watchers. And these are just extra eyes and ears that can be around. So like during high holidays and other large events and during Sunday school, they can be watching the exits and monitoring things. We have radios that they can connect with our guards. If they see anything that looks suspicious. It's just extra eyes and ears. They're not asked to intervene in any kind of event per se, but they are there to provide the extra eyes and ears because the guards and monitors, cameras, they can't be everywhere. So we have them for Sunday school, we have for holidays, we have for big events. They just augment the staff that we have. Scott, did I leave anything out?
No, I think that covered it very well.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Marty?
I don't have a question, but I think everybody should know also that the Jewish Federation has a full-time security expert, and he's available to us as well as the other.
Yeah, just to repeat what she said, in the last year, the JCC hired, John Davidson, and, he's been here before, given us, training. And that's one of the things that we're looking for in the coming year is to provide some more training for the congregation. And, he has been excellent in, organizing, the community-wide security efforts. And, they've been very supportive. So, that's out of the Federation. Any other questions? Back to you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, next up, Evan is gonna talk about technology.
So I kept mine pretty short and sweet. So we did a lot this year, but a lot of it was revolving around making small changes probably nobody would see in front and really just happening behind the scenes. So we installed TVs for visibility from the BEMA. That's been asked for a while, is how can we make it easier for the clergy and for the different teams and different people that run our services and events, how can we make it easier for them to see? We have created a streaming card. It's actually being used right now, so that we can stream wirelessly from anywhere in the temple. We're starting to use that more and more. And we installed new high definition projectors, so you can see it right here. So this is about 1/2 of how big it can get. And it's able to be seen in a brightly lit room just as well as it can be at in night in the dark. So we use that the first time for our Super Bowl party, which I think is going to become a staple party to happen every year because it seems to be pretty well loved. 2026 and 2027 goals really revolve around kind of one thing, which is right now for a lot of the events is me and Mark kind of doing what we can to make the event work. And while that's perfectly fine because Mark more than me are here quite often, Mark again way more than me. We would like it that events can kind of happen and run easily without us necessarily being here, or at least not having to worry about technology and enjoying the event. So a lot of the work that we're going to do over this next year is about making technology work for us automatically, using automation, using installations, and using software so that we can enjoy the events as well, and our technology can just run. That includes improvements to audio and video to make sure that it's easy to see, easy to hear consistently, as well as doing things to enhance the consistency and quality of the stream and the web streaming that we use. So we've done a lot with software to help the back end with our administration, with things like SchulCloud and helping in support of what we're doing with Levin Hall. But again, the biggest priority we have this year is to make things just run a little bit smoother, a little bit less dependent on the people that join us here in Temple. Any questions? Yep.
So with all the new gadgets and all the new devices and the streaming and more technology, we have a company in Cincinnati that does the IT. Are they patching things for vulnerabilities, and have we had professional vulnerability scan currently with the new devices that they could have to prevent hacking the temple?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I'll repeat it just for online. So we have an IT company down in Cincinnati, and the question was, what are we doing to patch our devices and our technology so that it's not subject to vulnerability? And so the great thing is our IT team, Titan Tech, who's down in Cincinnati, is managing and controlling all of the PCs that we run in the temple. They have software built in to make sure that there's no vulnerabilities that might subject the content that we have to the outside world. And then the best part is, one of the main reasons why this is taking a while to automate everything is because the systems that we use, the first priority is that they stay internal and protected. We're not just using the average thing. We actually switched off of Google to Microsoft for one of the reasons being their higher security setting. But that also, the downside of doing that is it takes a little longer to get things done right and done well. And so that's why this year we're really focused on automating what we've done because we have that good foundation. Great question. Any other questions at all? Please.
We're a membership organization. And I'm gonna pull the old fogey card. all this emphasis on online and streaming. Has anybody done any research or looked at comparative studies of other shoals as to the effect of streaming and putting things online and its impact on engagement and getting people in the building and interacting with each other?
Well, so that's a good question. So I have looked at many temples on what they're doing, but I'm also not beholden to that because ultimately we are facing the same issue that every temple is, which is Judaism is changing, the temple experience is changing, and I don't know that I've seen any temple get it right. And I don't know that we're getting it right yet either. So as much as I've done research on what other temples are doing, we have integrated systems like Shul Cloud that many temples have found.
Separate the.
Well, let me answer your question and we'll go from there. So what I would say is, when I look at our temple online presence, the main goals of that online presence is to do two things. One is to drive membership engagement. So I want you guys to be engaged in that. So if somebody online that it can't make it to our annual meeting, right now, they should be able to see it. So driving the engagement in events, engagement in what we're doing in the temple. The other thing that it's meant to do is drive the engagement of new members or potential members. And I believe, if I may be so bold to say, yeah, it has done both. So we have seen engagement online for online streaming, or at least people have been telling me and giving me feedback on the online streaming, so people are watching it to some degree. And our new members have found those events, those online streamings, and have mentioned them in their interviews for joining our temple. So to answer your question, if I heard it right, was what research are we doing and what information are we basing our online presence off of and is it working? And so to answer that question again is, I have looked at temples. We're doing something similar to what most temples are doing, which is streaming online services and events and offering some type of digital calendar. And then to answer the second part of that question, yes, I believe it is working. Is it working 100% effective? No, but no temple is. We're doing, I think, what we need to be doing to get to that point.
Are you pulling stats on who shows up via the different channels?
We have them, yes. I can't depend on those stats. So for instance, viewership on YouTube. Some people use YouTube, some people use Facebook. They both rate viewership differently. Facebook rates it more as like who is watching at what time. YouTube runs it as more of like who showed up at some point. So it's not a perfectly aligned stats. But our viewership has generally gone up from when we first started around COVID. And then in general, the viewership kind of showcases what I would expect for in person viewership as well. So as an example, we might have 6 views on a standard Facebook stream of a standard Friday night service, where we might have 20 to 30 streams or more from high holidays. So, viewership of those go up and down just like they do for people sitting in seats.
Okay.
Fair.
Fair answer.
Okay.
It still shows a great drop in engagement.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say that the same answer to that for online is just the same as in person, which is the temple only works if people show up. And if you show up online, that's showing up too, but.
I just wanna say that I know people who go to church, the churches have dropped their membership as well.
Okay.
COVID really affected everybody.
Yeah.
And I think there are still people who wanna stay home in their pajamas.
Sure. Sometimes I'm one of them, to be honest. I don't know that we as, right.
It's
across the.
It's not just religious organizations, it is any endeavor. And I'm gonna be really broad here that requires them getting a month bunch of butts in seats at a place at a time specific.
Yeah.
I do want to say that our events are really designed to be in person. We don't design them to be online, but I know there's several people in our temple community that are sick or that are in bed and they can't get here, but they can participate and they can join in Torah study. They can watch Friday night services and they do that, and it's very, very important, meaningful to them. But really, we want everybody here. That's what we're about. We're about being together and being a community, and that's really what we're pushing for. Technology just helps along the way. Thank you, Beth. All right, Paula's gonna talk next about volunteer.
Last but not least, the volunteer committee. So as you can see, we have a very small, hardworking committee who have stayed with me from the beginning. And so my goal is to maintain my members, along with all the other things. We want to, our goals as a group are to find volunteers for the Temple Beth Or, as well as any community events that we are involved in, to recruit more and new volunteers for these events. You know, I find that when we're looking for volunteers for events, we always tend to go back to the same people who have consistently volunteered over the years, continue to generously volunteer their time. But we've really been focusing on trying to get some of the newer members to volunteer as well, in any age group. And we've been actually successful at doing some of that, so I'm very happy about that. Our key accomplishments this year were staffing the Rosh Hashanah Oneg, which of course, the big oneg on Erev Rosh Hashanah. We really try to involve people. Some people volunteer for parts of the service. Some people volunteer by bringing in treats for the oneg afterwards. Another big event is the artisan fair. So we found volunteers for setup fair, workers on the day of the event, and also to help clean up. We helped this year with the brisketeers, finding some additional brisketeers, as well as staffing the brisket lunchroom, which was a big task in and of itself. We also, I'm the community liaison for Temple Beth Or for the Dayton Food Bank JCRC endeavor. So I found volunteers to staff for the days that we were involved doing that. And of course, the biggest thing of all, the corned beef fundraiser, which honestly is a pleasure to staff because people approach me months before the corned beef fundraiser and say, can I have that again this year? I want to volunteer. People really like that event. It's a big social thing, particularly the setup day and then the sale day. And our anticipated tasks are to continue to do those things and other events as requested, and continue to recruit new volunteers for these events. So I would say to you two things. Number one, when you know we have events coming up, don't wait for me or my committee members to call you. Dave Mortar is a perfect example of this. He comes to me months ahead of time and he'll say, I know you have this coming up. I want to volunteer. I love that. So please do that. We want to know who you are. We want to know you're out there. And of course, we want you to volunteer. And something else I want to say that is not on my report. Every week, particularly since we've been having a lot more food events associated with Shabbat services, that always means setup and cleanup. And we have an unnamed group of people who consistently are in here every week helping with that. And I was remiss in not mentioning them in my report. And I want to mention them now because I think pretty much all of you are here. So I think you should stand up, and I would like to recognize you. And that would be
Dave Morber, Deb Char, Anna, Iris Alowitz, Ellen Lauber, Helen Holroyd, Gina Khan, Helen Markman, Iris Alowitz, and Jay Holland. And these are the people that always. Any questions? No.
Thank you so much. I always look forward to getting a phone call about events coming up, and I appreciate all the effort that the volunteer committee puts forth every year. That was the last official committee report, but we did want to talk about a couple things, just so everybody heard things the same way. We've got some yearly events we want to talk about and some larger projects. So our three big events we're going to do again this year. We have commitments for people to lead it: the Art and Music Cafe, the Artisan Fair, the Brisket Lunch, and the Corned Beef. So we've got people already committed to leading that, and that'll be coming up and be a big part of our business sponsorship as well. And Ryan, I wanted to call you up to talk a little bit about our facility rental and our other projects going on.
Thank you very much, everybody at home.
Shady character.
Shady.
My mom's looking for me. Anybody see me on a milk carton?
Yeah.
Just before I get into my pitch for a second, I just want to say, if you were on the board, you would be able to attend in person or attend via Zoom. And if you attended via Zoom, you always see these three guys physically here running the show, putting it online so the rest of us can be part of it. And it's facilitated being a board member a lot. I like to be here as much as I can, but when I'm not, I can still be an effective member on the board. Appreciate all you guys for doing that. So one last little history. With Levin Hall, my family was very motivated to help temples. My father helped Beth Abraham, my uncle Beth Jacob, and I said, well, the future is Temple Beth Or. When you look at the time, it was 186 kids in the Sunday school, and we saw that. I said, without a doubt, this is the future of Judaism in Dayton, Ohio, and that's why we contributed at that time, and that's why we continue to support. And to that end, of trying to grow Temple Beth Or to increase our membership, we have taken on this relationship with Hillel. We started talking to them some time ago. They are able to move to where a majority of their parents live much closer to this location. So just logistics makes it easier. It helps the endeavor also of our mission to grow Temple Beth Or with youth who can remember where they came from and continue their Judaism and think of Temple Beth Or as that epicenter, which is kind of my mission that I've been pushing to consolidate Jewish Dayton, Ohio. So in that end, Hillel is coming aboard. In fact, because of an act of God, they came right into our arms and just about a year early. So the good news is relationships are strong. Anna Smith is the principal of Hillel. She's fantastic. She's so easy to work with. She cares about getting it done. And we've had a wonderful relationship facilitating that. Getting to this building, if you think about it, lay dormant most of the time. Vastly underutilized facilities. So there is some growing pains. We have to update the facility in order to accommodate Hillel. But when you look at the money that we're starting to generate from it, the future growth, it is necessary growing pains for what we have to do. And by that, I mean like fire installations, which will save us insurance money, by the way, when we are sprinkled, we do some things like that. But suffice to say, we're fully on track to get the 34 or 36 kids that are in Hillel. The whole mission has always been to grow Hillel. And this is the facility that's going to allow them to do that. And we are the patrons and facilitators of that. And it's been my pleasure to facilitate that because I really believe in the mission. So that's the direction. I keep it kind of loose because I don't want to get into the weeds and the grass of it, but that is the brush strokes. That's the broad stroke. And security, thanks to Scott Denmark, he's making sure they always have an armed guard. It was one of his insistence before we even allowed them to come in. So security, security, security. We can't afford to let anything happen to them. And we can't let anything happen to Hillel or to Temple Beth Or to tarnish our name and make people feel any less or security than they should feel security. So that's my thoughts, unless anybody had some questions for about the Hillel merger. Yes, please.
I just have a comment. As a Hillel Bubby, I'm thrilled you're here. It's made my life better.
We've heard that a few
And
times.
my grandkids, obviously are just so at home here. And as I look at their older brother and sister who came through Hillel and now have been local officers and regional officers and BBYO and the song waiting, it makes a big difference.
It really does. Anybody at home who couldn't hear, she was validating the fact that this closeness, centrality to the community, has been a big benefit to her personally, and she recognizes and knows other people have done it, have enjoyed it as well. So, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Hillel has been very excited to be here. They have so much more space. They can have an actual art room and a music room. They were having 2 classes sharing rooms before. They just didn't have the space. And it's great to come in during the week and just see all the activity. Very exciting. Two things left. I got a couple of things to say, just some remarks, and then Rabbi Judy, and then questions. And I'm not going to read my slides, but I did want to just talk about a couple things. We do have a lot of priorities for the board, and that's going to change as we get new board members. We're always going to focus on security and safety to make sure we've got cameras. Now that we're going to be busier with people inside and outside, we're looking to update our systems that are now 9 years old. So we'll be able to see what's happening all around and also inside the building as well. So for instance, there's no camera in Levin Hall or the major hallways. So we're gonna improve that and get that taken care of. So security can see everything that's happening. We're gonna focus on membership. We wanna get more people as members of Temple Beth Or. We wanna increase the Sunday school enrollment. There are 60% of Jews that are not affiliated, and we don't know all the reasons why yet, but we're gonna try to find ways to connect to them. You know, we really wanna meet everybody where they are. I mean, everybody is Jewish, that's kind of a lineage thing or a choice if you convert, but everybody practices differently. So if you like to read the Torah portions every week like I do, there's people that like that. There are other people that don't do that. We want to find out what people want and make sure that they can celebrate Judaism and participate in a way that makes them feel connected and involved. So don't hesitate to make suggestions. I can assure you if something was done differently than you would do it, it wasn't because somebody didn't think about it. It's different people think differently about how everything should be done. So the best thing you can do is participate and help us make it good for everybody. That's really what we're here for. I said earlier, it's a labor of love. You know, it's a volunteer run organization. We all want it to be amazing for everybody that steps through the door, and everything we can do to make that happen, we will. We're going to be working on a staffing plan. So we'll see that committee come up with what our future looks like. What do we need? An assistant rabbi? Do we need educators, programming people? They're going to make all those decisions about what we need and try to start to build that vision with Rabbi Judy. And technology will help. We'll use it to help as much as we can. I kind of listed some of my goals. Some of them are not necessarily just temple related, but no matter what I do, I'm on the Federation board, and I always think about Temple Beth Or and how the Federation can help us. Marnie is going to be president of the Federation starting in August. And although I wrote on here support Marnie, I don't know what that means, but I know I'm going to do it, whatever it is. And I urge you all to do that as well. I really want to be an advocate for the Jewish community, you know, outside the Jewish community, but I want to help bring all the Jewish organizations together. If we have an event, let's say an adult ed event, it doesn't cost more to have 10 more people show up. It's actually a blessing. So I want to make sure we're all connected, all the Jewish organizations, and we're just smarter and we have more fun together. And I want to enjoy being Jewish. That's, you know, one of my goals for the coming year. I do appreciate that my parents and family have spent more time at the temple in the last year. That's Angela and the kids. and my parents over here. I wore a jacket because I knew my dad would wear a jacket, and I didn't want him to, didn't want me there. I am also appreciative that my yarmulke covers my balding spot right there, so, well, hey, you know.
You need a cowboy hat.
Notice I didn't put a bullet there for that in case anybody's going to copy these slides.
No, that's.
I appreciate that I've been president for the last year and you guys have trusted me to lead the organization. Rabbi Judy is a blessing for all of us. She's amazing. Her sermons are so thoughtful and insightful, and the way she leads us year to year almost seems painless for her, and it's amazing that we have her. I just want to thank Rabbi Judy for everything. And I would buy you a house right behind the temple in New Zealand.
Just where she goes.
Wait. It goes south.
All right. That was just a joke. I wasn't gonna do that. So some things that we struggle with, we're trying to make a lot of temple things run like a small business. But we're shifting from everything being on paper to everything being electronic. And if you've ever been on a committee before, it doesn't matter what committee, if you have old files, old papers, old pictures, we need all of that stuff. Because every time we go to do something that's been done before, we have nothing to look at. So, you know, Sharon's starting to rebuild the committee on personnel, but we're hoping we get some information on what was done in the past. We don't want to start from scratch if we don't have to. So anything you happen to have, we would love to have in our archive. Next year, I commit to doing kind of a collage while we're eating that shows pictures from all kinds of things throughout the year, but we just didn't have a lot of that ready and for this year. So I just want to throw that out. I'm sure, I know I have 1,000 pictures from this year. So send us all your pictures, all the files in those boxes you don't want laying around your house. Give them to us so we can see what's valuable and what can help us. I did want to just thank a couple of other people really quickly. 3 big things that we had this year. One is the 40th anniversary gala. I wanted to thank Rachel Gilbert and Stephanie Kirtland, Mimi and Stuart Rose, Scott and Linda Denmark, and Larry Glickler. Let me give them a round of applause. That was a wonderful event. I know you guys wanted me to wear my ruby jacket today, but I didn't think that was appropriate today. So I also want to thank Ryan Levin and the Levin Foundation for their donation for Levin Hall 2.0. And then Marnie Flagel, Carol Segalowitz, Karen Lindsay, and all of you for your participation in the Future Fund. Thank you so much. All right, that's all I have to say. Judy, I'm going to pass it to you, but you got to use the microphone. I know.
Mark, we would all like to thank you for the incredible job you have done over the past years. And have you announced that you're running in 2028 yet? Of the United States?
That's very fun. Thank you, Bob.
All right, I'm old school. April. So one of the questions that came up this year is it still the 40th year? Here's the answer. Our founders, several of whom are sitting in this room, found the temple in 1984. Our first service was held in January of 1985. So at the end, January 2026, when we had our Ruby anniversary celebration, we were ending our 40th year. However, if you count back to 84, the question is it our 41st year or our 42nd year? And because we're Jews, we'll say both. Just like Ira can have 2 birthdays, so can Temple Beth Or. So whatever number we prefer, it is that we are in our 5th decade. Can you believe 5th decade here at Temple Beth Or? And we might look around and say, what is worth celebrating? And I think that the story of this year is the story of what we have to celebrate. There were those huge moments, and Mark just mentioned the Ruby Ball, which Rachel and Stephanie built a whole year around, and the ball itself with Scott and Linda Denmark as the chairs, and the tireless efforts of that committee with Larry and with Susan Gruenberg and everybody who made that event. It was perhaps one of our most memorable evenings. Our fundraising efforts for the Future Fund exceeded expectations with Marnie and Carol and Karen. Thank you. Doesn't work. Technology has its flaws. We wanted to thank Kevin Fields, who took over bravely the brisket effort. Jake Elder, who once again created our corned beef event. Alyssa Dinsmore took over with a lot of coaching from Ellen, how to do the artisan fair, and Mary Rogers continued her musical cafe. Our school, it was like seamless. Elizabeth Woolsey crept in, no one saw her, and she made a year that followed last year without complaints, without problems. We had an exciting school year that kept everything creative and meaningful, and we had happy Jewish children in the building, which is what we want. A great surprise happened. We were out there at the sukkah, and a few of the parents said, you know, we should do a K-pop demon thing. And it was amazing because, again, Melanie Shannon and Paula Berman and Rachel Gilbert took it and ran with it. And we had an amazing team of volunteers who just took something and ran. And that's what we want. Marty Jacobs said, let's get as weird as we can with Indian. I don't know what it's going to come up with next year. And I don't know that everyone enjoyed it, but Kate Elder and Julie Atkins put together the most remarkable experience that was teamed up with the PJ Library, where even we had the police officers out there in pharaoh costumes. It was so cool. This year, our family Shabbat experiences really burgeoned, because Carrie Siegel got some grants and she sat here and cooked dinner every Friday night before a family Shabbat service, and that brought kids in, and that brought our retirees in, because they wanted to have great dinners before a service. And our family services for the first time became my favorite Shabbat of the month. We did this year for the first time with just one rabbi. It's been a lot of years since there weren't two of us. And people say, how did we have such a successful year? And the answer is not about me, but it's about the volunteers who showed up, the board members who stood up, the choir members who we're going to thank. Do you even know we're thanking you on June 19th? We're honoring and thanking the choir. And Mark doesn't know it yet, but he and I are going to do some cooking in the kitchen to give you a nice event to thank our choir. Our teachers showed up, our students showed up, our teens showed up to lead songs. Our sponsors of Oneg Shabbat receptions showed up. People did come to services. People did come to study and to learn Hebrew, and they baked desserts and they made phone calls and they guarded the door and they moved furniture and they sold tickets and welcomed newcomers and supported one another. And that is the story of all 42 years, but really this year. It would be dishonest to suggest that every change came with comfort. Growth always is a little bit difficult. We've had disagreements, we've had spirited discussions and strong opinions, and ways when people saw things differently. But that's what a passionate Jewish congregation is supposed to be and will always be. But what we really learned is that unity and uniformity is not the absence of disagreement. It's a decision that we share this future, and it's strugglesome and it's hard, and moving those books is tiring, and yet to do the things that we have done is all about the growth. And that is, of course, hinting at what we know, that Mark Gruenberg and Ryan Levin helped bring a partnership with Hillel Academy that will bring Jewish children into this building. It is so much work, and we have so much more to go, and we are going to be asking for all of your help. with just going through, oh my God, 40 years of debris. And if you have me in the room, I'll say, oh, we have to keep it. So you guys need to come and throw this stuff away. We have stuff here that's been around since the Reagan administration. The process is stretching us. It's creating so much work. And we're thinking differently about our future, but that's what building a congregation is about. 41, or was it 42 years ago, Don and Sue and all of you, when you sat in a room and you disagreed and you invested time and money and moved books and schlepped desks around, you also were building dreams about something that doesn't yet exist. Planting for a future always requires that. And that's exactly what we are planting for the future going forward. We are planting so that our community can continue, so that we can stay in this building, so that we can be the vibrant center that Mark dreams of. Probably I've told the story 401 or 2 times about Honey and the tree planter, where the Honey asks the elderly man, why are you planting a tree? And he says, well, my ancestors planted for me, so I'm planting for my descendants. And that's what we're doing here at Temple Beth Or. Not just preserving what we inherited, even though most of it is in my office right now, but what our founders planted for us. That's what we are giving to our future, so that Hunter, we're locked in the bathroom somewhere. No, you got out. Okay. Will someday be standing here as a leader of this congregation. And so we plan for those who are not yet here. Our 5th decade, we move into a new future and a new way. And I hope that the seeds that we plant will make Temple Beth Or stronger and wiser and brighter even than the one we inherited 41 or 42 years ago. And that's what we hope for. Thank you.
All right, we're just about done. I would like to ask all the board members to come up to the front, just in case there's questions, and we got microphones up here. I know we asked a lot of questions throughout the presentations, but I just wanted to give anybody an opportunity to ask simple, short answer questions. We will defer that if they are difficult, we might have to take them out then. So you're gonna have to use the microphone though, so everybody can hear.
The potholes.
The potholes, okay. So we are in the process of getting quotes to get the driveway redone. We're gonna, the quotes we're getting is to completely redo the front half nearest the temple, just to restripe the back, so they'll, what's the term? Seal coat. They'll seal coat the back, and they'll redo all the lines, and then same with the back driveway, so that'll be recoated and new lines. Potholes are gonna be done as part of that, so it's all gonna be handled at the same time. I drive in the Marshall Road entrance, and I cringe every time, so that'll be done in the next, hopefully in the next 3 months.
What's the current count of temple membership?
The count of our temple membership. So there's a couple ways to look at that, because there are.
How many families?
How many units?
Yeah, go ahead.
Units.
So there's about 300 people as members of the temple.
Is
So-
that people or units?
It's adult members. There's about 300 adult members, not including children. So
Where the heck are they?
it's just not the number. So when I run the count, it's about 300 adult members.
So families, it's just over 200.
That's the question.
Yes, just over 200.
Okay. It's paid,
Swimming around,
yeah.
What is that?
180.
This drawing right here, Don brought this shows the cemetery plot. What is available, just in case anybody wanted to see what opportunities there are to buy some plots. Alex?
Yeah.
The future fund. At what point can that be touched? How can it be touched? The board decision?
if we have a number of different funds that are already existing that touch upon those subjects. So when does the future fund kick in
So,
in relationship to the current fund?
so we're looking at getting a committee in addition to the board or in conjunction with the board to utilize these funds. The purpose of the future fund is, as I was saying before, is to utilize these funds. So, you know, if we're looking at an assistant rabbi, and that fund can be used to support that rabbi in the end, you know. So there is, it's going to be reviewed, with the committee and with the board making those decisions. So ultimately, it's to give the temple the support to grow into what we need for these items. It's not going to be, future funds will be identified as uses that are specific for the programs that Marty had outlined, not just general purpose.
Yeah, I'll also add to that, we don't have any plans to use it right now, we're still working on a staffing plan and we're working on long range plans. But we've got that money set aside, if and when we need it. Thank you for that question. Sue?
Actually, this question, my daughter Rachel Gilbert is on her way home from Ann Arbor, having taken one of her sons to a camp friend's bat mitzvah, which is very cool. And she texted and asked if I would ask this question. So she says, I'm wondering why the huge drop in the number of kids in McCore. Her understanding is that there are only 34. And she asked if Rabbi Chesson could address that.
Well, anybody, whoever has that,
Yeah.
you have the answer to that, too.
Well, listen.
All right.
Say she didn't do it.
This is why we hired you.
Thank you very much. I don't know that anybody's gonna really love this answer, and it's a little bit generalized, but the majority of the issue is coming back from COVID. If you're looking at kids that started their school experience in 2020 and then continued into 2021 online, it's just trying to work all of that back out. To Mark's point, the unaffiliated in the community do make a difference. And every synagogue that I'm aware of is working to figure out how to reach those unaffiliated.
Having been on the board and had every office here, there's a couple of things going on with that. A lot of the children who families belong, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
It's Ellen Holroyd. First of all, I think we need a count of the children who are actually. And then we have the other issue of when they attend Hillel as a day school, many of them do not also attend McCore. And I believe the population of children under 18, Jewish children under 18 in the Dayton area has dropped dramatically. And that's probably a number we can get an approximation from the Federation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not just, and COVID is a huge factor. I've been to other presentations involving children, and for those kids who were most impacted by COVID, their participation in activities outside the home of any type is down dramatically.
Dr.
Yeah, we're trying to be very, very careful to make sure that bringing Hillel in is gonna help us, not just hurt us. So we're working on joint programs so that we can increase participation in family events. Anybody that has a bar about mitzvah at Temple Bethel has to be a member, so even if they happen to go to Hillel and they say, well, we don't need to go to Makor, they're gonna have to join at some point if they wanna do a bar about mitzvah here anyway, so we're very careful and conscious of that.
I think Sash. Thumbs it up on.
Thank you for that question, Rachel. All right. Alex?
Question to Ryan regarding the use of this facility, for rentals.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to touch that. I realized that when I sent it.
Could you, how often is it being used as a rental? Realize the University State has, at least once a week.
Yes, and that is,
But what about for other special events that?
the University of Dayton, relationship, it has to come to an end by virtue of our Hillel new relationship. But, as was our standard and will continue to be, is we are taking all comers. We actually, my mother is a member of Magyar, which is a Hungarian group. They had a dance in here. So we're actually trying to get it out to the community at large. This isn't just a Jewish facility, it is an entertainment facility. Think of us like the Mandalay. So, we're trying to get that as out there as much as possible, and we want this to be a revenue generator. So short of frat parties or something wild, we're gonna, weddings, bar mitzvahs, these sorts of things for all members of the community. It doesn't have to be Jewish, so we're really pushing that to our friends and families, our colleagues. All of you have that opportunity to be like, oh, you don't have a place yet for your insert your family or life experiences here. I've got a place for you. So it does take a team to pitch the good word, I was going to say something I did about McClure. The security, I think besides the COVID, I think families are still scared to put their kids someplace. And the more we let them know, they're like, you wouldn't believe what they're doing in Temple Beth or to protect these kids. Our money should be so safe. Our government should, look at it. I mean, you can run right into a press secretary or a press dinner and with a gun, but you can't do that here. So things will happen, bad things will happen here. But suffice to say, I think more that we push that out, that McClure is just as sacred and protected as our Sunday school. I think people might feel more, we might get a few more stragglers.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, let me just add a couple things. So, we do pay, the Federation pays us every year to do both summer and winter camp here. They don't have the space. And then Hillel is paying us a rental. In addition, they're paying for electricity, anything over what we normally spend. So we're not gonna lose money on anything that we're doing here. And we're also bringing the Jewish community here as much as we can.
That was always a focus, that we do not lose a dime. We may be non for profit, but we have a profit incentive to keep the lights on. So, suffice to say, we protected ourselves. Temples are pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. Yes.
Yeah, I've got a comment, a comment and a question.
Okay.
Comment first is anybody who has not listened to what the rabbi has to say at any time, whether it's Friday nights or other times, really is missing an education. And I especially want to comment on her comments from Friday night, which were absolutely outstanding as far as educational experience. And I'm already encouraging her to repeat it for the high holidays, because I think it was so good. My question is I do not see any financials on the corned beef sale. Where do we stand on that?
Mark, you over here now. Okay.
I did not hear it. He knows where those exits are. So, I'll have to look the exact numbers for the corned beef, but, so I don't remember off the top of my head. They're baked into the fundraising numbers there. So, this year we bought more corned beef. We had extras, so it wasn't as profitable as we had in years past. But part of what Mark's looking at for this year is to get sponsors throughout the year, that we'll get back to that point where the sponsors are helping to subsidize the event, and then it's profitable here for. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Well, hold on.
Hang on. All has.
Well, I was just gonna ask, have you been on the corned beef committee? One of the big issues this year also was the lack of advertising and getting the word out to the community. We missed a lot of business by the lack of community members that came in.
So I think that's also, you know.
Yeah, when we do all these big events, I think people forget that you really have to have your pricing and your marketing materials and everything ready 3 to 4 months in advance. And so when we get things coming in a little later, it's harder to get it into the Observer, which takes 2 months. And get it into other publications and communicated. So we put together a internal temple calendar in the last 3 months with some key milestones, so we can reach out to all the right committees and say, hey, we're gonna need this information by this date, so that we can keep things driving and make sure that we do market ourselves as early as possible.
Just completely related to that, and that's what I was gonna say was part of the issue with the corned beef was the lack of marketing, visible marketing outside of this institution and is internal. There was not, but I'm not gonna dwell on that. My question is, with the announcement that we have someone who's gonna pay attention to marketing and our different strategies, if we have an idea, who do we go to with an idea for putting the words out for whatever it is we're doing?
Well, obviously, anybody on the board you can talk to anytime. I'm running marketing right now, so I'm probably the right person to talk to, but mention to anybody on the board and make sure that people know we need to make something, make a change. We want to be very visible in the community as much as we can. No, we don't have an email, but we could.
My question is the deli, because we have the deli now, the corned beef, not as many people will buy from us because of the deli?
You know, I haven't heard that directly.
We've always watched it.
What the question is.
Gary, by the way, we did thank you earlier before you got here for all your work on the family Shabbat services. So thank you for that.
I was just gonna ask, what did I miss?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. One of the big benefits of having technology is this is recorded. So people that can't be here can see it. And if you did miss that Friday Shabbat service this past Friday, you can go listen to Rabbi Judy's sermon and just learn amazing things as was mentioned. All right. I think all of our questions are done for today, but you know, we're an open board. We want to hear what you have in terms of thoughts, concerns, praise. We are happy to take praise. I just want to thank all of you for attending. And as I said at the very beginning, the temple wouldn't exist without all of you being members and participating and volunteering and making this matter. So on behalf of the whole board and Rabbi Judy, thank you again. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, the last day in May.
Larry's been playing.
I understand. Younger generation. Yeah, right away.
Where's the building aesthetic? That's what I was. So, oh, yeah.
Because they found it this podcast. Okay. Yeah. I'll talk to you soon. Right, but. Having an orange don't come flat. I'll stop. Well, what I'll do is ask Dave to put it up and then take pictures. And maybe send it to Jen and say, we're sorry. I have written that for years. I don't know.
I know.
And Art Taylor type of. I'll go check them out. And take them. That is wonderful necklace. Yeah. It's birthday.